Okay, hi guys. This is kind of my, know, uh, let's see now if this works again. I'm CB Arun Kumar. Currently, I'm Dean Communication, Film and Gaming. So I'm actually not teaching Blender anymore for the last year and a half. Okay. But what we did is, and I work with Pearl Academy, which has got centers in Delhi, Jaipur, Mumbai, and Bangalore in India. And what we do is we have design programs. So these are the program I had is the one in, okay, communication design. And what we did this year, and before this, we have been teaching Blender in a training format. So we had 1 year courses in Blender, 1.5 year courses. And now this is part of a full design program. And I wanted to share a bit of how we did that and how it helps in, having a pipeline that's purely Blender based. Okay, so I've been to Blender conference for the last 10 years, and as you can see, uh, from there to this is this year. So one of the things that's happened in this time is that this a huge difference in perception of Blender, and obviously it helps that Flow got an Oscar, but more than that, even before that, lot of companies in India today are using why the hell Blender as okay. I think that should be fine. Huh.
Continue.
You don't have to do that, Monique.
I will try.
Okay. Uh, use and we'll just see that. So in 2017, I had done a talk here at Blender conference called Teaching Blender in Autodesk Universe, where in India at that time, we started teaching Blender in 2013 in Mumbai. And no one really wanted to learn Blender. It was considered unprofessional software, etc. And the situation today is vastly different. And the thing that's changed it is actually the students themselves, it's very, let's say difficult to fool the students. Many students just start learning Blender on their own and they find, okay, this is better than everything else. It's free. I can use it. Why do I? Yeah, I think it's because of this. Do we have a tape or something? Okay, arg. So anyway, let's go on. So that was the talk I had given then. And students way back in 2017 were making great stuff. I was in a different school at that time. And that was me then in 2017. And there are these big films in India, and there are companies that, and RRR had actually got an Oscar for a song even before Flow was there. So they had got Best Song Oscar. That is a year before that. They used Blender. There are these films, Kalki, for example, and there's a company, these are the companies, they are all using Blender. So one of the things is that education is in Blender is still way behind. And this is something we need to change. If the students are learning other software because their programs can't be changed and they've been set in stone and a university changes its program once in 5 years or 10 years, then you have a problem. So the people who are doing non-degree courses, they are teaching Blender. The whole community is teaching everyone Blender. But the university system was not seriously teaching Blender. And that's one thing I said, okay, now I'm a dean, let's try and change that. And what's the problem when it comes to animation, visual effects, education? We have a software soup, you know? So each person who teaches something wants to teach their software. And somebody is teaching, okay, I'm teaching you Nuke, and someone wants to teach you Cinema 4D. And actually, a whole lot of UI for students to learn. And it's ridiculous because a lot of it can be done. And one of the things I have figured out, and we'll show you how we do that, is Blender is one of the few softwares you can use from beginning to end. practically. There are some gaps, and those gaps are getting filled. This is not happening with any of the other solutions. If you're working in an industry pipeline, you can learn that. But if you're teaching a student from the start how to be a designer, 3D designer, we feel very strongly that you don't need to teach so many software, you know? So what's Blender? Blender is the Swiss Army knife of software. Yes, it's not best at everything, but you have great joy, you know? Yep, its compositor is not the best. It's, VSC is not the best, whatever. But nonetheless, it's got a whole lot of things, and it's got 3D and it's got grease pencil. I think these are the two huge strengths. Before grease pencil, I think the case for Blender was a little less weak. The development of grease pencil actually has made the whole animation pipeline teaching so much easier. So let's move on to what I feel here is everything, all the stuff that you need to teach. And these are courses, and these courses are there. Fortunately for us in university courses, we don't write the software, we just write what has to be taught. So what happens is if you have a storytelling course, what do you use? You could be using After Effects Premiere Pro, you could be using something else. So that's up to us. And if we actually take all these little building blocks in a university course and move it, then you can actually use, a student doesn't need to get bothered about, oh, I have done this in that, now I have to transfer it to that. They don't need to be bothered about that. So with, um, you know, let's say grease pencil, the first exercises which we get students to do, and these are, those as like principles of animation and all, and the teachers are essentially 2D teachers, and you get the student to learn some of this stuff, and they are doing it. So this is one student's. The whole semester students are working with pencils. These are fresh students. It's not like they've been this is stuff and they start using it. Okay. So, and so on and so forth. So, and that's all of what the students learn in that semester. And you realize that's a hell of a lot of stuff, and so that's our program. We have a Bachelor of Design, Communication Design. This was the original program. And starting 2025, we have a fresh specialization. So in India, we have something called AVGC, Animation, Visual Effects, Gaming and Comics. So that's how the sector is defined. So we have a specialization in animation, visual effects, and gaming. And this was redesigned to use Blender as the primary design software from concept to execution of student ideas. Now, obviously, we are going to see what happens another 3 years from now, because it's a 4-year course. The first year is a foundation where students learn everything, and then they come and do these courses. So I don't have all the outcomes we have, but I have 16, 15 years of teaching. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to have many films. Like we have put a lot of films into the Blender showcases, some of the student films, and they have reached the final 5 also, nothing this year, but till 2019, we did that. So we want to be able to make student films that are awesome, like say, films from bigger schools like Goblins or, Film Academy. Their student films are awesome. If we have 4 years and students are learning 14 software, they're not ending up making anything awesome. if they concentrate on starting and the basics and moving up, in these 3 years, we feel the students can come up with industry beating level of work because the students are really smart. It's we who have been failing them. We have not been giving them the proper way of learning it. We are making them learn, okay, learn ZBrush, then you learn, something marvelous designer, learn some, and the student is confused, they're going UI to UI to UI, and that's not helpful. So storyboard to animatics to final output. And that's our pipeline. We have Blender and we have Resolve, both of which are free to use. Student could buy the paid version of Resolve. For most of what the students do, it's not needed. But they can do the color correction, they can do their post, and hopefully sooner or later, our own VSC will be so good that we could just do edits in it. So that's how we kind of structured it. Okay. These are the semesters that we have control of. Semesters 3 to 8, and that's a domain major. And as you can see, even before we come there, we included something called a technology pillar. So this is there for all courses. Fashion is one of the big things we teach at Pearl Academy. They don't have their technology minor will be something else. So our technology minor is 3D animation 1, 2, and 3. These are 3 semesters where students actually learn Blender as a tool. In the rest of the courses, they are actually got the course structure has been there, so they're more what should I say? Like you can see generic stuff. So like visual storytelling, 3D animation, character design. These were done earlier with different software, but today what happened is that the students learn the basics of Blender. By the time they go to visual storytelling, they already know enough Blender to be able to do the exercises. So the progression goes till they finally reach a major project, which now they can do in Blender and do post in Resolve. This is the whole idea. This is the program structure. We'll know how awesome it is 2, 3 years from now. But we hope to see results really soon because we have a lot of, yeah.
So these are separate classes, right?
They are separate courses within the program, yeah. So other than this, there are courses in gaming. So there'll be Unreal Engine, Unity, then there'll be stuff in visual effects with After Effects. These are, so this is semester 4, semester 5, semester 6, semester 7, semester 8. So over 3 years, they go up the value chain of not just using. So you start with the basic turnarounds and stuff like that. By 3D animation 3, say geometry nodes. Now, when you're going into character animation or you're going into stuff like that, you already know a lot of stuff technically, so you're not struggling over that. So the idea is that all these things have linkages. So game production is actually game asset course. So that course, students are working on a project with Unreal Engine or Unity. They create their assets. So now you already know Blender comes after that. So this really speeds up the workflow, and it was an idea was how to put the building blocks in the correct way without changing a university course. The only thing we added was this. This was a mandate for our university to have a technology pillar. And that technology pillar has been optimized so we can now make everything happen within Blender. So that's the thing. Let's okay. Now you saw the student work, in the grease pencil, and this is how. So if you look at this, what you realize is that, um, as you can see here, this was an earlier thing. By the time the students come there, 2D animation to character animation, it's in semester 6 actually. They come there, they are able to animate long before they're actually making high-end 3D models. This is the reverse of our old system where everybody created, texturing, all that they did that before. So kids really have fun, I mean, doing this kind of stuff. And they pretty much download whatever they want to from the internet. So that way Blender is lovely because they don't need to be stuck with what we give them or whatever. They just find it and they do it. And they are very happy. So that's okay. And then when they move on, they create full gaming assets like this is student work. So it's a video game environment. Okay. Question? Okay, so essentially what happens is even before, and this is, we don't, like I told you, we don't have any final projects, we don't have any big works yet. This is all intermediate stuff. Students get pretty good. Some of them even pick up work from outside because this is all, people need. I'll just show you one more piece. Here's another bit of okay. So, not that you. Okay, so that's that. Thank you, guys. Yeah, take it out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sibi.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing
thanks.
what's going on in
And
India.
I'm
I would
hoping that at some point we'd be able to come up with awesome films,
of course.
which we can show. Thanks.
Thank you, Sibi. Katina, please. It's really wonderful to see CB. We've known each other for years.
I know.
And CB is involved in Blender education for a couple of years, like Piotr also. So it's really nice to see
Since 2013.
exactly where we started Blender education. So it's really lovely to see how the progress is going at the academy.
Yeah.
Okay, we will move on with the presentation of Katina and Tim. Hey, Katina. Let's see. The audio and then the presentation. Want to share two screens?
Later on, we'll share the
Half on first? Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
There.
This is when
You have to mirror on the screen. Okay. Maybe you can help with it.
Yeah. Similarly,
And high screen or external.
so the entirely start mirroring. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, works.
Okay. Hi all, it's good to see you again. And I'm Katina and it's Tim. And let us introduce ourselves first. And I'm Katina and I'm basically doing the curriculum design.
Yep. And I do, all the things that support the curriculum and make it happen. So like operations, business development. It's good to be back and lovely to see familiar faces. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start our inspiring talk. So today we are going to talk about the China community of Blender user and enlightenment, experience, and engagements. So why building a community matters. So we'll talk about through three perspective, as we think that this enlightenment, like we can enlighten the young creative to create the pieces, and also we can let the professional or the workers, they can empower themselves, as well as they can engage in a great variety of events, so that we can build up a strong community that we can create a co-value. Yeah. So let me show you what we have done this year. So for first, we have do the vocational trainings in February and March. And then we have do the Blender seminar for promoting our Blender competition. And also during June to August, we have launched the summer course and some experience classes that's free of charge. So that more people can learn the Blender and AI use. So one of our biggest news is we will have our Blender Day.
Blender conference.
Yes, should be
now,
Blender conference.
officially,
Yeah, in Shenzhen. Yeah. So for the first one, enlightenment, how to inspiring out our next generation. So first of all, we have do the online seminar. So we have do 6 sessions that we have shared different theme, and I will introduce one by one to you later. And basically, we just use this online seminar to share like how Blender was Blender and
this guy.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, like we're sharing why using Blender and what our Blender connection is, and we have provided the free Blender and creative teaching themes. So these are the themes. So first of all, we have the themes of analyzing flow, the animation movie, yeah, and its cultural symbolism, yeah. So basically, we tell the teacher why this flow are using Blender to do their production because it's cost efficient and also it's an open source and powerful tools. And also we dive into different topic like we should talk about technological breakthrough of flow, like is how to use the geometric node to create their unique and beautiful style. Yeah. And then we talk about the cultural aspect, like we share what the animal symbolism and also some of philosophical, yeah, metaphors of the movie. So for the second, boosting the creative efficiency with Blender and AI tools, in this sector will be mainly focused on how Blender work with AI. So we share the AI use, like how the common AI use in general, like the text generation or the image generation, as well as the video generation. Then we share how can we work with the good prompts so that we can do the good 3D models that can import into Blender to do other setting. So for the third one, it's mainly focused on it's a more exclusive topics that we talk about how Blender and the digital cultural heritage, because we have saw a tendency that more and more heritage need to be protected by using the 3D technology. So we shared how we can use the 3D software to do the protection. Yeah. So for the highlight two, we have launched our experience classes that we have launched free sharing classes that's for Hong Kong audience. Yeah. So basically we just teach them how to use the AI tools, and then they can build their beautiful character and then import into Blender to make the lighting setting, environment setting, and as well as some details. Yeah. So for the third one is about the elite summer camp. So we have offered over 30 hours end-to-end AI plus 3D learning, same as the experience classes, but we talk more detailedly about the AI and Blender use. So we basically focus on AI and Blender. So here are some photos that was taken during the class, and you can see the students are using the AI tools to create some image. Yeah, and then we'll teach them how to use Blender, especially the edit tools to make some details. And then we'll learn how to do the animations. Yeah. So here are some example. Yeah.
Sexual 이거는.
Oops. Yeah. So yes, they just learned how to create the animation, like making the music box and some basic animation principle. And like when turn on the handle of the music box, the rotation planes start rotating and the objects follow it to do the animations. And yeah, I think it's quite impressive because as a teacher, I think they can create their project like based on their creativity, and they know how to blend the creativity and ideas together and create their own stuff. Yeah, and also rooted in the Eastern aesthetic to create some amazing pieces. Yeah. So the second part, let him to introduce to you
Yeah.
all.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So just to add a little bit on my thoughts on, can I hold this? I'll just
Okay.
hold it. Yeah. My thoughts on like how we work with the K through 12 space with younger learners and teachers. I think the biggest hurdles we see with teachers is they sometimes have a fear, both a fear and an interest in Blender and 3D. And it's about overcoming that fear. So a lot of the things we do might be very elementary or not very complex, but it's about giving them that experience. And I think it's the same with kids. We have very talented kids. You may have seen in the lightning talk that, they can do really amazing things. But there has to be some pathway to get them in, which is why we do lots of like free seminars, experience classes, so that eventually, hopefully, they'll stick with us for longer time and really be able to express their creativity. And I really appreciate, how Katina's changed the curriculum recently to add more elements where they can express their creativity, because we feel that that's quite hard in 3D space. It's easy when you're just drawing or sketching. You can whatever you imagine, you can just put on paper. But in 3D, we found it's harder. But with there are some tricks with AI generated tools or other kind of like UV maps and stuff that makes it a bit easier. So in the professional space, we've been doing some work as well. This case study is particularly interesting because we started working with the largest polytechnic in China. So they supply talent to places like Tencent and DJI and Huawei. In this case, it was actually the students of the university who started pitching to the teachers that, hey, we're using Blender, right? We love this tool. Stop teaching us Maya and Max, right? Please help, upgrade the talent and the software and the curriculum. So they came to us, and we started with teacher training. So the train the trainer model to us is the most impactful. It has the most reach. So we started with a 9-hour professional course, and that's now extended into like a year-long training program. We even take care of things like hardware and software for them because, for example, if they want to combine like AI tools, we need to deal with like how they're going to get their compute, how they're going to do their rendering, how they're going to do their hosting. So we also help them do that. I think we have some more pictures here, and it's like mostly teachers, and we also have some like stellar students joining the class because they're actually good enough to join a more advanced training session. And we flew in a trainer from Singapore, and we got an instructor like ex-WETA, ex-ILM trainer to come join and give their talk and experience as well. So we're hoping to do more of that, and we've connected with around 30 universities in our region to offer that over the next couple of years. Yeah, and this is if you have been to our SIG's sessions before, you may have seen that we're still doing lots of vocational training. More broadly, not just in creative media, which is the second one, but also in web development analytics, because we feel that there's actually a lot of intersection between these different skills. And we do this with the government and the City University of Hong Kong. And yeah, we've now expanded to more than just in one institution. Collectively, across all these programs, we're training about 600 professional students a year. They spend 3 months with us and they reskill and get. Our job is to find them a job in the industry. So thankfully, we've been doing that quite well. But we've also been seeing lots of need to change all of these programs to incorporate new technologies like AI or new open source technologies as well. I think there's one more.
Yeah.
That's me. Okay.
Okay. And for the last session is about the engagement, how we build up a strong community and collaboration. So we are happy to announce that we have created our IP, Blendy. Yeah. So it's our inspired by the monkey characteristic like in intelligence and agility and as well as the curiosity. So it's also is a tribute to Blender Suzanne Award and as well as it's a Blender default script that we saw in the opening interface that we want to, it can mark the infinite creativity. So here is more design of the Blendy. Yeah, you can see artist one, the graduation one, and the fighting one. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Training mode.
Oh, yeah, training mode. So we try to use the Blendy as our mascot that we want to integrate it into our curriculum designs as most of our audience are the young creatives which age from 8 years old to 18 years old. Yeah. So we want to use a more playful way to engage their interest, to arouse their interest and engage them in creating their 3D design objects. So here is more merchandising and product promotion. Yeah, and you can see we went to a exhibition in Hangzhou, China. So to expand our influence, and would you like to talk more, Tim?
Yeah, sure. We've been building up a China's Blender community. This is part of our broader efforts to do things like a Blender conference, do a certification that we'll speak around about later. But it's really a platform for artists to showcase the work and learn and engage, and eventually also find projects and like exchange talent. That's the dream. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the second one, that the initiative that we have taken is to providing a great variety of events. Like I say, as previously, we have offered the online summer class, and also as well as the 3D showcase competition. So, and this the 3D showcase competition, and the theme of this year is about the Chinese culture. That is a broader theme that's for the student to explore and find their interested theme to submit their work. So far, we have two categories. We have the 3D modeling, and other is 3D animation. So for the 3D modeling, we aim for the school student and teacher to join. Yeah, for the animation, we have more individual to join the group. Yeah. So here is another events. So we have a communal celebration, IICC and Banner Days that we have launched last year. We have impactful results. So we have more than 1,000 people to come to our conference to join, and they have like joining the keynote speech and similar as well as the professional courses. And here is the award ceremony we have from last year. And last year, if you have joined the lightning talk yesterday, I'm sure that you have seen the movie before. Yeah, so it's quite inspiring that talking a girl and a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
we try to combine our efforts across training, community engagement, and events so that our students can eventually kind of shine on this kind of more global stage at the Blender conference, at the AI conference. And this is like industry visits we offer to them afterwards at places like Tencent or CMGE, who does, they're both big game companies in China. And this is combining our industry connections with our training efforts, and it just makes it more effective. Yeah.
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 Is this an ad to tell everyone to join? Yeah. Come to the Blender conference, everyone, in Shenzhen, and meet all these amazing students and professionals for yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. For more information, just scan the QR code. Yeah. And the last one, just keep you guessing, we will introduce our original CG and our certifications system in the coming sector. So yeah, please look forward to it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll be back later.
Of July to the 27th. So 3 days. It consists of sort of several components. One is sort of this workshop component with a bunch of work along sort of workshops. And then we have some talks on the sort of main Blender Day conference section. And there's a bunch of community events, just like fun time to meet up and exchange about projects and whatever we all have going on in regards to Blender. This year, we sort of had a theme. The theme was games and game engines. So that sort of flowed through all the events. So on the talks, on the 26th, I believe, we had the conference section where we had a bunch of talks. Our keynote was by Laura Körting. She is a game producer for a studio called Lab 132. They work on a bunch of independent games and also like contract work with other studios. And she talked not so much about the technical work in Blender because she doesn't do that much herself, but rather what it's like to sort of organize and structure all the sort of like studio, the overarching organization stuff like around working in game studio, which was super cool. We also had a bunch of other talks by different people. We had on the topic of games, we also had the development of a racing game, like a sort of space racing game. We had a talk on psychology and how it relates to horror games. It was very cool, and like studying how like childhood fears and stuff affect horror games. We also had talks unrelated the main topic, just like general 3D related topics. There was like professional rendering that you can actually see that in the background. We had Blender in combination with Git, and there was one on training AI models using Blender. Yeah, so that was the conference part. Aside from that, the main like summer school part of it is the workshops. So there's a bunch of workshops. There are 3 different levels of workshops. There's Newbie, which is sort of a series of workshops that introduces complete beginners to Blender. Then there's Beginner, which is for essentially those who already have a very basic foundation in Blender but are looking to dive deeper into certain topics. And then there's Advanced for people who already know their way around a topic and just really want some like major tips and tricks and like to really get all the way in there. And here is where the summer school kind of shines. It has a wide variety of topics. Like I said, the Newbie series has sort of the basics you would expect: interface, lighting, basics of modeling, rendering, all that kind of stuff. But we also have more specialized topics I personally held some workshops on sculpting in Blender because that's something I love doing. We also had workshops on scripting for creatives. We had some general dives into animation, but also more specific topics like working with Blender for VR and working with Blender for like web-based like systems, kind of 3D printing, motion graphics, all kinds of cool stuff. And of course, since the topic was game engines, it was also working with Blender in combination with game engines. So in this case, it was Unity and Unreal. We sadly didn't have anyone who knew their way around Godot, but if any of you speak German and want to show up and like teach everyone how to use Blender and Godot, I'm sure it will be very welcome. I'm sure there are a bunch of people who would be interested. I would sign up personally. Yeah, and then like I said, we had a bunch of community activities, so with the opportunity to sort of share what everyone's doing, what everyone's been up to, how everyone uses Blender. So we had a speed modeling contest. There's some kind of modeling contest every year. This year, we tried out having like a tight time limit, so it was half an hour time limit, and the theme was video game teleportation, or not video game transportation, sorry. So in theme. And this year's winner was Johannes Kirsting, so did this one up here, with who did like a sort of fast travel teleportation thing with like swirly effects. Yeah, aside from that, we also had lightning talks, so sort of like we have here, just even slightly shorter, I think 5 minutes each, and just the opportunity to quickly present a project people have been working on. So you had here someone talking about making a 3D printed bust of their horse, and cool like game and short film combo project about a refugee fighting off his inner demons type of situation, and a bunch of other things. We also had a poster contest and a feedback session, which were combined this year. The poster contest is a new thing. We had a sponsor who provided like, who let everyone like print out some like 3D works they had that were like printable. And there was a bit of a contest about it, just seeing like what worked well, like printed out. It was a casual thing, not like some like big, like there's not too high stakes to the contest. They're more like a fun way to present work. And then the feedback session is just an opportunity for everyone to share some like project they've been working on that they would like some feedback on. It can be anonymous or it can be not anonymous, just an opportunity to get that feedback. The highlight this year was definitely Vincent Maurer. He shared some of his work he did on a short film during, it's called A Sparrow Song. It actually ended up winning the student Oscar a couple of weeks later, so that was very neat. Yeah. You can, I think, actually see Vincent here. Unfortunately, I didn't find a good picture with him presenting the film. Yeah, and here's a picture of the group of us all together. I think there were around 70 people this year, all kinds of different levels. There were some of the people you see every year who especially hold workshops and just like coming to have the opportunity to meet the community. And then we always have some new people who take this as an opportunity to sort of learn Blender essentially in a setting where you have someone who can actually guide you through. Like obviously I myself learned Blender with tutorials back in the day, and it's always kind of a bummer that you run into an issue and you're like, oh, I can't directly ask someone what's wrong. And that's one of the things that is nice about the summer school. Yeah, so if you're a German speaker, it's all German. So if you're a German speaker and want to meet up in Mannheim, it's going to be next year again. Or if you have something you want to share, maybe hold a workshop or a talk, it's always a lovely place to be. Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ruth, for sharing the Blended 3D School, the weekend school.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to start with the Blender Badges project. Short introduction for those who don't know what the Blender Badges project is. I think 3 years ago.
No, it's 4 years.
4 years already?
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
2022, I think.
It was after COVID.
Yeah.
We didn't have Blender conferences for a while, and we came back, and we kind of picked up an old project that we started with. Piotr, I'm looking at you. We called it the roadmap. And there was a lot of discussion like, what is the roadmap? What's the roadmap of Blender for education? And during COVID, basically the discussion stopped. And after COVID, Eduard came and said, we need to pick this up again because I'm running into some issues. In Europe, we have the Erasmus projects where schools do a lot of exchange as part of the Erasmus Plus program. And we're running into problems. Now, I was having the same issues as well. So we picked up the Blender Badges project. Well, we called it the Blender Badges project. And the goal was to bridge the gap. And we had quite some discussion, like how do we do that? And we came back to the idea like, okay, we have to have some kind of a way of communicating and telling each other what our students have been doing, what did every student or school taught their students. So we came up with the Blender Badges idea, and it's basically a kind of a reference curriculum that schools can use. And if you exchange or students themselves, they can use the reference curriculum to say, hey, I have managed these skills. But even schools can say, okay, I'm teaching these skills. What are you teaching? And we kind of somewhere can bridge the gap to not run into trouble of students going to another school and saying, oh, but I haven't learned this. And you expect me to have been taught in this subject. And that was kind of the goal mainly for this project. And when we eventually started, it started growing. Everybody was, many teachers who came to the conference says, oh, but this is handy, because this is kind of like a curriculum. I can use it as a reference at my school or at my university, or tell my boss what I am doing. But we also had teachers in the room saying like, okay, I'm going to start teaching. And the school is expecting a lot of me, but this helps me to create a program, to create a curriculum. Now, I have a master's degree in education, so I'm expected to be able to create a curriculum, but there are a lot of artists out there starting in education who have no experience in how to create a curriculum. So this is also there to help anyone who wants to teach or who has been teaching for a while to have a curriculum. And then Tom came along and says, this should be part of the Blender environment. This should be part of Blender Foundation. Yeah, I know. We had a chat with him yesterday, because at the beginning, Tom was like, no, the community should do it. But when he saw this, he said, okay, education is important for Blender, and this should be part of the Blender ecosystem. So glad to announce we have an education website on blender.org. So thanks to the Blender Foundation, they helped us put this online. Also great thanks to Bart, who managed to set up the whole framework to do this. And basically the team has been growing. There are people working on the Blender badges. This is the website, check it out. We have started work on a few badges. The idea is that we have foundation badges and advanced badges. But again, a shout out to you, please help. We're doing this in our own time, and we love Blender. So if you can participate, that would be lovely. Just a few small things. There is a Blender chat channel, on an education channel on Blender chat. So please join blender.org or chat.blender.org and go to the education room. Please join the discussions. I think the latest discussion where you see is Andrea is proposing the badges for the advanced level. So please join the discussion and please help us create more badges. the project is the project environment of Blender. So if you go to projectblender.org education, you will see the education project there. So this is totally a part of Blender Foundation.
The website, by the way, is on education.blender.org. You can
Yes.
find it there.
And we have regular meetings where we discuss, and the meeting minutes are posted on DevTalk. So we are fully integrated in the whole Blender ecosystem. Yeah, and talk about that. I will switch to Edouard.
Yeah, I don't know if it's makes sense that I thought maybe I can just give those who don't know about this project a little insight how it all started from my perspective.
Shall I
And
put three?
yeah, maybe we can switch it. And then we will hand over to those who actually did something this year, which but I come to that later.
We all did something.
Yeah, we all did something, but yeah. Let's see. I have to share my screen, I think.
Share.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yes. So yeah. Okay. So it all started when I came to my first Blender conference 4 years ago. It's 4 years and 2022.
I think three. But
Three?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was 2022. And then I was a bit lost because I was doing this project with a school in Arnhem, of which my colleagues are here also, gladly. And we tried to do something together. We both schools worked with Blender in the curriculum, and yeah, we thought about how to exchange course material or whatever, a curriculum, and this was just the question I came here with, and I asked, how do you share your curriculum? Do you work with other schools? And the answer was, yeah, let's talk about it and let's do something about it because there's nothing readily available for that. And the discussion afterwards was very interesting and very inspiring. And it basically came to the conclusion that you have to slice up your curriculum, make it call these slices badges, and just define how to share these badges. And that's the idea, that we don't have a big curriculum that everyone uses, because I want to organize my lessons in a different way, or need to organize it in a different way than others. So it makes more sense to have small pieces of
Brickstones.
Hmm?
Brickstones.
Brickstones, yeah, where you can build something, where you can build a curriculum that fits your agenda and your school.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We started to work on that. We tried to find identify topics that are related to Blender and can be done with Blender. And then we split them into skill levels. We said, okay, you can start somewhere with, for example, modeling. You start with the basics, and then then it gets more and more advanced. And so we decided to have two main directions. First, the basic, the foundation badges, and then we would on top of that add the like more advanced badges. And yeah, we started with the foundation badges, and yeah, in parallel we started to create the website and try to put all of what we have been working on on this website, and we found a student who actually created badges we could use on this website. And yeah, then the website went public last year, I think.
It was this year.
Yes, this year. All right. Okay.
It was this year, January 2025.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
yeah.
We had a
website.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and in the last conference, there were again people joining this our efforts, and yeah, there have been more badges since then, and even the first advanced badges.
Yes.
And this is what we're going to talk about now. And I hand over to those who did it, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any questions so far?
Yes, but maybe for later.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Again, we've been working on this. If you have questions, please do, or we discuss afterwards. We're gonna switch to a few people who have joined. So we have 3 people who are gonna, well, Federico was there from the beginning. So Andrea and Raul joined to create new batches. And I'm looking to all 3 of them. Who wants to start? Raul? I thought, Raul, you were raising your hand, or? Let's start, Raul. Can you stop sharing?
Oh, yeah.
Raul, can you share what you have and maybe unmute?
Hi,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everyone. There in Amsterdam, in every other place in the world. Well, I'm going to talk. Are you seeing my? Are you watching my slide, my presentation?
Yes.
Can you see? Yeah. Well, I'm Raúl González from Venezuela. I teach Blender, I teach Godot, free software for kids and young people like Krita, GEM, Inkscape, and other free software. I teach Python, and I teach robotics for kids with Arduino, ESP32, and microbit. Then I'm working. Well, I have like a year because I joined the team last year as conference. Then I work in this project, blend with pencil. Let me see.
Okay.
Then we propose. I'm working in this project for the proposal to get in the blended budget. Then we have a level 0 that we are trying to. Here in level 0, the main idea is to know the interface, because it's a little different. If you have been working in Blender for 3D, this part is going to be a little different. Then this level 0 is to get in this new world of 2D animation inside Blender. Then we have to know what is there, and maybe doing some practice, but not really a real thing. Only practicing and knowing the interface. That's what we call it, the level 0. Then we have level 1, when we introduce now how is draw mode. That is a new mode in Blender. Well, new in Grease Pencil 2. Draw mode that we don't have it in the 3D pipeline. Then we have to understand the Grease Pencil object. Then we have because here we have layer, but in the way, not in the old way of Blender, more like in the way we have in Photoshop, on GIMP, or Krita, we have layers to work like in 2D space, to the tool software. Then and we have edit mode. We can work in draw mode, but in edit mode we can do great things too. And then we have little different things from 3D to 2D. Then we can work in display in this part of the program. Then we know stroke, what the stroke is, and the fields, all things. Then in level 2, we are proposing to study and to know the timeline, how to understand how the timeline and other things in green pencil work, and a school mode. Here in green pencil, we have a good thing that we don't need to, if you don't know how to draw, you can use some tools that green pencil has. Then you can draw without drawing. Really, we have take these tools. We can make animations without drawing with this tool. Bouncing ball, a stick man. You can make from a draw. You can make the outline or everything there. Then we have here we are using the dope sheet and how to make something in the school mode and timeline. Then in level 3, then we are going deeper, knowing mask, because mask we can use mask in sculpting, and we can use mask here in Grease Pencil. Mask is a powerful tool that we can use to to take like not only the layers, the organization layer, but it's a very interesting tool. Then we have the onion skin, that is a traditional 2D animation pipeline. Here in this pencil, we have the auto keying is by default is activated. We have another thing that is different from 3D, that are 2D modifiers. We don't have the same modifiers in Grease Pencil that in Blender 3D and the 3D part. And then we have so many of them, but we are working in these ones and those ones, the line art, time offset, because we can do lip sync, the build, in the way we are drawing in time, we can build these drawings in the same way we did it, and we can show the process of drawing. Lattice, that we can deform things in the 2D space. Then we are proposing to have here lighting and render and 2D, because it's a little different. It's not the same thing in the 3D space. And then we have level 0 and level 3. We have 4 levels really. But then this 4 level could be the foundation of the Grease Pencil. And then we have other ones we are working on, that is level 4 and 5, that is rigging, 2D rigging and skinning, because we can do interesting things with bones, armatures, bendy bones, inverse kinematics. And then we have like mixed techniques, like where we have 2D things and 3D things, and we combine them. Then with pencil and Blender in general, we can do very interesting things, lip sync and interpolation that we can work in the 2D part. Then, thank you. This is my part. I'm happy to be here and be part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raul, for sharing your work that you've been doing for the Blender Batches project. Let's see, let's move on. Who wants to go next, Andrea or Federico? Andrea?
Yes, I'm ready, so I can talk about my contributions. I share the screen. I prepared a little presentation. So we go to Firefox. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you see? Okay. So I go, okay, Firefox. And then I try to, okay, full screen. So I'm Andrea Monzini. I'm an educator and digital maker for multimedia production, like projection mapping, augmented reality projects, and video games. And I'm free open source software supporter. And today I talk about my contribution, little contribution to the Blender Education project. In particular, I will talk about an infographic that I created, and then the design for badges for video sequencer editor. So the levels for video sequencer editors, and my education experience that I care about. So about the infographic, there is the link to education.blender.org. And here we have the infographic. The idea is to communicate visually what are badges. So badges are a reference framework to common understanding, to help collaboration, to share experience. And the idea is to express with image what are badges. So on the left, we have a situation of challenge where school have challenge to communicate their program, the skill of the students, and also the student itself can don't have the opportunity or the capacity to express what their level skills may be in an exchange program. While with the solution of badges, there is a new language codified with description of the skill, what student can do, what they can learn. So these badges can help collaborations between schools and the communication between the students. And just a little note, thank you to Kenny also for some of the graphics. So talking about the design of badges, so credits to original design by Philip. And then we go to the design. So I design the badges for foundation level and advanced level. We go quickly to the foundation badges. I use the icon that came directly from the Blender editor. So from the preview for the sequencer, and then I added some increased complexity to every single badges. So we have the foundation badges. And I propose also advanced badges. Here too, we have reference from Blender editor. So with the three color wheels, the slider, the alpha in the compositor, and for example, in the second level, I added a chroma vector scope, and in the third level, I added also RGB parade So to express the complexity for each level. So quickly, I go to the first foundation level, and we talk about workspaces using user interface in the basic editing. So we talk about the montage. So with the first level, we teach how to have a basic montage video editing, and also to understand the workspace, the interface. There is a link, of course, to all the details about what students can learn, the keyboard, the tick list, what they can do, what they know. But for limited time, I just skip to the second level. So in this case, we have the advanced editing. So the students learn how to add scene strips, the effect strips, the fade transition. And this is very interesting because in this Blender conference, there is a very interesting talk by Folk David and Pablo Fournier. They talk about the development of story tools. Because in Blender 5, there is a news that is the sequencer scene. So sequencer scenes let you to use your own scene in the sequencer. So it's the new way to manage a scene inside the sequencer. So we try to be updated continuously with the development, and I take this opportunity to say thank you to all VSC developers. So talking about level 3, we talk about retiming, so the slow motion, the proxies, the render. So the principles, all of these, also about the rendering. And then we talk about the first advanced level for the video sequence editor. So using the street modifiers for compositing, color grading, color correction, a little bit talk about the color theory, the scene referred, the display referred, the workflow, the compositing, and we think that it should be more advanced level, okay? And that's the level that I created. Also, I would like to talk about my own experience using the badges. And so as educator, I think it's very important to understand the context where you use badges, and then can be used for communication, for certification, so award. But I personally use it. I use badges as a physical prints. I print out badges, and I make you, for an example, for some course I did for projection mapping. But example for the badges that I printed for the VSC and for the advanced level, another example. So I like to print badges on photo mate paper. Why? Because I think from the semiotic linguistic point of view, these badges are seen with a signified very quickly. The signifies the pictogram, the shape, and they signified what is the meaning, what means these badges. So these badges have a symbolic meaning, and this symbolic meaning help to have a knowledge connection between students and teachers. And also there is a trace of this teaching. So when students have these badges, maybe they can touch it. There is the trace of learning experience. And I think it's also a ritual awareness recognition. So you recognize the work, the focus, the effort of the students, and have it is a little rewards, but it is a deep meaning, in my opinion, in my experience. Why? Because students start to collect badges. So have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a bit ancestral collection, while people collect stones, shells, like in this era and of education, they collect also badges. And help also to have empathetic communication. Because when I give these badges to the kids, they smile. There is a spontaneous clapping. They are happy. And in this case, we care. So this is a quote from a previous keynote of Ton. So thank you, Ton, for Blender, for everything. And why we care? Because we think that the Blender education and badges help to achieve a meaningful experience for all educator, all the facilitator, the mentors, the teachers that care about the quality of education. And that is very important for me. And the best rewards is the smile for the kids, but also when I teach to adults, when they are smile, when they're happy to learn, it is a nice environment. So here there are my contacts. This is my website, my email, the Mastodon contact. Also, this presentation will be available online if you want to watch it, watch all the detail. And this presentation is I did this presentation with a free open source software called Reveal.js. And I try to be quick. There are all the details on the Blender website, education, staging, blender.org. So you can see the details for the VSE. And if you have questions, I'm here. I'm finished.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much, Andrea.
Yes. I'll try to. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Andrea, there is a question.
A lot of actually. But first things first. I love the system. I love the idea. It's perfect. I've been teaching Blender for over 15 years, and this is actually a very good method to get one continuously teaching art through. I'm also in the makerspace. I would like to have those badges for free print, which means that you can print those badges. But you make the badge for the what's called video sequence editing, and you make all the little tiny symbols, which would be very complex for an FDM printer. But I would really like to unterstützen.
Yeah, to be able to support the
make the STL stuff that teachers could use that. Because I actually recognize that there's the Blender course, there's also FDM printer. So I think it would be an extra badge with quality for which children. Maybe we can make something like Scout. Girl Scout.
Yeah.
Like a Girl Scout that make you learn it all. That would be amazing.
Yeah, nice.
great, nice idea. Unfortunately, we have to move on. Questions, please join the Blender chat. We can discuss there. Andreas also on the Blender chat. Raul is there. Please give your feedback and ask your questions. Like I said, we're already running out of time, but
Yeah, Monique, just one thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to show that I printed out all the VSC, so you can do also with your own printer. So with cheap photo paper, you can
Again, yeah.
just it.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you very much. We have to move on to Federico, who also.
I have a question about the entire education.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do it in when Federico has finished. We
Yeah,
have
so
one
that
more-
Federico.
We have one
Okay.
more talk.
Federico, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Federico. I'm a lecturer and also 3D artist. I'm based in Singapore. I'm from Italy. And I've been working on some of the badges, and now I'm in the stage of developing the advanced badges for modeling. So this is a proposal for the first level for the hard surface modeling badges. So again, this is development stage, means that maybe stuff will be changed. But in short, this is a step up compared to the foundation badges, which are very basic, very introductory. This one will be task-oriented, so hard surface modeling, and in this case will be a prop modeling of a sci-fi medical kit, for example. but of course, the same technique or tools can be applied to any prop modeling. So just going quickly, you can see there's a more extensive list of tools. For example, a slightly more advanced, if you want to say, like a set origin or a separate selection, snapping, and fill in the face, grid fill, this kind of thing that maybe a beginner would not use directly. Also would be leverage more on modifiers. For example, the mirror modifier for symmetrical modeling, beveling, solidify, weight and normals, or also the mesh cleanup. This is to recalculate the normals, smooth shading, etc. Now, for the hotkey, this is also the difference from the foundation badges. Foundation badges rely more on buttons on the user interface, while the advanced badges will shift, for modeling, will shift more to hotkey base. So the hotkey list is much longer and more comprehensive. In terms of can and no, there's also a spell. It's not cam, it's a can. Can block out, extrude, inset faces, beveling, mirroring, knife and loop, and smooth shading. So there's also a list of breakdown of the steps and that the user will do. So from a broader box modeling to define leads and panel section to then insert additional hinges, handles, etc. So the processes you can see also is more comprehensive. It is more steps in order to get to a final stage. This is more production oriented. I'll be stop sharing and share another image, which shows a bit of a broader view of the process for the advanced badges for modeling. So this one shows not just the individual badges, but also categories, subcategories, for example, hard surface, or organic, or procedural. And for each of those, there'll be 3 advanced badges. This at least is the intention. And it's all task-oriented, so to align also with the industry needs, and also to make the use of the tools something which is more tangible and it has got more purpose in a sense. I think 2 more minutes. So the idea is to, for each of these, to also develop an asset, something that I still need to work for my first badge. But also, I wanted to also share that Lucas Nepper, with a K, also contributing this advanced badge with sharing his knowledge previously. Yeah, so it's not just myself. I use some of also his sharing and the tips to come up with these advanced badges. I think that's all for me. Very short. Any questions? Maybe time for that.
Okay, thank you, Federico. Thank you very much. A little bit, I think Federico already has said a few words. There's quite a team working on the badges and discussing with us. Federico, Edouard, Raoul, Andrea, myself. Katina is also working. Peter Kemp, also helping out. Matte. Lucas Wessner. So there's quite a team already working, reviewing, contributing. But if you'd like to contribute, please do. Even discussing with us, be critical, share your experience, tell us if we're doing something wrong, but also if we're doing something good. So yes, and again, it's now part of, basically it's a Blender Foundation project now. So we moved from, we're still community driven, it's still a community project, but I think officially, yeah, it's now Blender Foundation project as well. So, and that's great. Bo and the Blender Studio reached out to education because I think they have some ideas about education as well, especially for the cloud content. And Bo is here to share that with you. So I'm very glad that Bo of the Blender Studio is here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take it away.
So my name is Bo Gerbrands. I'm a 3D artist at the Blender Studio. I help with well, education now, but also on the movies we create and Dog Walk the game, for instance. And I had a conversation with Francesco and Fiona, and we were like, well, how can we improve our content for our website, and it's like, well, you know, there are these guys, GD Quest. Maybe some of you know GD Quest. They also create a lot of great educational material, and I loved their way of writing and visual, you know, education. And it's one of the reasons why I suggested, well, maybe we should do something similar with the website. So right now we are in the process of creating a new Blender Fundamental course, which is going to be free for everyone. So I can also imagine that, you know, teachers, educators can take the content and adapt it maybe for a younger targeted audience, or yeah, how they feel like it. I'm going to talk a bit about the differences between the video and written training. Before we only did videos pretty much, and they're very nice and flashy. They get a lot of views, but they age. So it has a maintainability issue basically. And with written training, you know, it's easier to update most of the time. One of our the goals that we have, and basically the Blender Fundamental course is for 4.5 because it's a long-term support. And some examples, basically some videos of what we have right now. So yeah, with video training, I mean, you guys have probably gone through it as well, creating videos, voiceover, maybe written curricula, whatnot. But these were the biggest points that we have. So with videos, it's very accessible. You know, you can post it on YouTube, on different social media. They're quite stimulating, interesting, and they bring a lot of good exposure and views. But then again, they're hard to update. If you want to update because Blender, you know, changed, maybe there's a new artistic way of achieving something, then you have to re-record, which is a lot of work, a lot of time. And we are not really, like, we don't have a lot of people on board doing this. I'm basically the only one. And if we are between productions, there is maybe some time. It might have localization issues. Of course, with AI is a bit easier nowadays. Yeah, like I said, voiceover and finding information is cumbersome. So there are chapters on YouTube, but written text is often easier to go to, especially with chapters and sections and whatnot. I'll show you guys later. But with written training, it's of course easier to maintain because you can just update the text. And we also envisioned the Blender Fundamental course as like this organic living organism that we keep on updating. So it's not like a one-time thing that we create, we keep updating it, and eventually when we reach another long-time support Blender version, we'll update it for that version as well. Easy for localization, so depending on where you're from, you can translate it, rewrite it, which is easier instead of like ripping it from a video. It's on your own pace, which is something, I'm a visual learner and I like to learn on my own pace. Sometimes it's too fast, sometimes too slow. So yeah, that's one of the advantages. Again, with segmented learning, so with sections, I'll show you guys later, it's easier to find information. And for us, for the Blender Studio, I noticed that a lot of people know the Blender Studio website very well. It has paid and free content, but the advantage is that we hopefully bring people to our platform and maybe they subscribe. But of course, this is going to be free. The downside is a big initial investment. So I think I've been working on it for like a month now. I think maybe in March we'll have a first version, and that's with someone actually trying it out and having some iterations. And it can
March 26.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly. So one of our goals is, like I mentioned, it's an evolving thing. So it won't be a set in stone thing where we just publish it. It will be like an organic web-based thing that keeps on evolving. We'll have feedback loops through comments, which is something that GD Quest also does. So at the end of the lesson, they have a comment section. People can comment and maybe, hey, something is wrong, or I solved it this way, which is quite interesting for other students. So that way we keep it sort of like a feedback loop in there. Yeah, it's maintainable, easier, we think. We try to implement a lot of repetition in the curricula. I mean, you guys know about repetition is super essential for learning new things. Segmented learning, I'll show you guys again later. Mini assignments and solutions. So the problem with our previous Blender Fundamental course, which was, they were videos, was that it was more of a showcase instead of actually applying the knowledge, right, through exercises. And we're implementing small exercises that are fun and bite-sized. And one of the main strengths of this fundamental course is going to be that it will be related to the manual. So we are constantly referring to the manual. It's very easy to go to the manual. And we are imagining that after the fundamental course is done, the manual will be updated as well. So the manual will refer to the course, which is going to be free, and then it will be this back and forth bounce between two things. So that's what we're envisioning. Multiple visual clarifications, meaning that it won't only have images and videos, but also the UI icons. We implemented all of them on our website as well. So hopefully that will aid in learning. I think someone else mentioned empathetic writing. That's something that I find very important as well. When I'm trying to learn something, I'm like, okay, this is very exhausting. I want to stop learning right now. And someone just tells me, okay, just take a break, or, it's a lot. That really helps. So it's also like a very personal projection of my own that I really like to do that. Yeah, and then again, this course is written with results. So it will go through a standard pipeline, industry pipeline. And the course will produce like a very cute watering can. It's a pretty simple object if you think about it, but for a beginner, it can be quite intimidating. And through the course, we will encourage, experimentation and good learning behavior, writing notes and such. So right now, I'm not an educator like you guys. I like teaching, and that's one of the reasons why I was put on this project. I was teaching my previous fellow students at school, at university as well. So I like doing it. I have some experience, but no formal education. So right now, what I do is I try to create something that's very low effort, but very fun and rewarding. And then I try to retrace the steps, so run through the process. You guys know about this as well. Discover any obstacles, and then try to either find another way to avoid those obstacles or rewrite it. And keep a very standard structure from the beginning. So at the start of the course, we're like, okay, this is going to be like, we have a little steps notification thing, and then the user has to follow these steps, and then we visually communicate that you don't have to exactly copy what we're doing. So it's very clear in communication. Not too rigid, to stay fun, and try to minimize deviations. I think you guys might have, of course, discovered that when you write education, maybe you need additional information, and we want to compartmentalize that information visually, and like this little collapsible block quote. I don't have an example, but this is like how it is right now. So those are the watering cans. These are the watering cans that we will create, which is all without any external data. We will also provide all the files at the end of the lesson, but this is how it looks like right now. So on the left, you have all the chapters, and we're basically almost going through the entirety of Blender, so except for Python code. And within the chapter, so there are chapters, we have sections, and within the sections, we have headings, and people can quickly jump to a heading, for instance, a faster way of navigation, or using the gizmo. So you can very easily, this is like a custom visualization I made, explaining what are the axes. Not everyone knows how the axes work, and the color they're assigned to, just starting with a very fundamental basic knowledge in Blender. And then at the end, we always have like a very small conclusion, so a summation. And this is how it looks like for me. So not visual at all. We're using Markdown, and this is the way how we'll maintain it through this backend. So this is like the result that we're going to create with geometry nodes and shading. And that's what we're going to show at the start of the course as well. Like, this is what you will do at the end of the course. So it's very encouraging, hopefully. Repetitions, so technique and shortcuts I'll mention again and again and again, and try to basically stuff the user with the Blender mindset with shortcuts, and also mentioning how to do certain operations without shortcuts, because shortcuts is always a tricky thing. You can try and explain a lot of shortcuts, but it can be overwhelming. So finding the balance is quite difficult. So this is like an example for this is like a cheese mini assignment. People will learn how to create this tiny block of cheese in the sculpting chapter. And at the end, there's the cheese solution, which is a very long video. And I personally like to just like dump the entire video on there so people can watch it on their own time and see how I do it step for step. So no time lapses or something like that. It should be very transparent and open. And yeah, these are one of the tiny exercises at the end of the chapter and sometimes between the sections as well. Yeah, and this is the thing I meant with segmented learning. So I need to stay here for the microphone, right? But anyway, on the left, for instance, there's selecting and transform, and then there are the different steps within how to transform things in Blender. So it should be, again, easier to discover knowledge. People maybe already ran through the course, but they want to review it again. And this is the easiest way, I think, to revisit the knowledge. You know, instead of watching a video, scrolling through the video, scrubbing, it's very cumbersome. So this should make it very easy. Yeah, this is an example of the icons. So we implemented more visual aids as well. And we also clarify shortcuts are specifically highlighted in a very consistent way with like a purple background element. So there are a lot of things I want to talk about more, but I'm really looking forward to talking with you guys because I'm an educator. Of course, there's a lot of overlap with the Blender Badges project. I didn't mention it yet, but this is really for people coming from different softwares. And I imagine people around the age of 12, so not a very young audience. So yeah, this is really what this course is created for. So yeah, that was it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm also on Blender chat, and so you can contact me by email or whatever you feel like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Bo.
Yeah.
And as Bo mentioned, this is a joint effort. So I was very pleased when Bo approached me and said, "Hey, the Blender Studio is also going to do something with education, make their tutorials starting with the Blender fundamentals give it more of an educational purpose." And this has a lot of overlap with the Blender education. So it's kind of a joint project where the studio is going to create teaching materials, or at least material that can be that teachers can use in their classes. And I would ask the teachers, please, let's give feedback, because this is basically the tutorials that we are kind of looking for. And they will be filling in some batches with that. So from the website, we can somehow link to it, like, okay, you know, these Blender fundamentals, they teach you about these batch levels. So that's the idea. Piotr.
It's not accessible yet. It's not published.
It's not published yet.
It needs like an actual run through of someone who doesn't know Blender at all. So
Yeah.
It's all like game design for us.
Yeah. But we can review, Bo. So I think that's what the others may be referring to, that users, we're teachers,
Yeah.
and we can review the material. We can give you some feedback. I've been doing that already a bit too with Bo. We've been discussing, but please use the Blender education to move this forward. Because for us, teacher, it would be wonderful if I can have material that I can use in the classroom and batches.
So I'm working on it full time. It's not voluntarily based, right? So if you want any, influence in this project, then please let me know.
Yes, I can also clarify. We had a chat with Francesco, and Francesco is busy looking for somebody to support the education initiative a bit more. We've been looking at the EPIC grant. Federico had written the proposal. Peter and I had a chat with people from EPIC, and they were massively enthusiastic about what we're doing. And basically, while we were talking about funding, they came back and said, we want to work together with you guys. And we said, okay, but first we have to move a bit further. We have to get some videos up and running. And of course, we can see how we can work together with EPIC. And I know Francesco is busy with that, see if we can get funding from the Blender Foundation to support the education initiative. but I was already really glad to see that the studio wants to collaborate with us on that. Yes.
Sort of notation that you use certain colors in the text and certain signs. It would be great if we have just a notation that we know what to use for that. I just think it's that better as grown up or children. It's good that it has all the same layout and the same ideas. And another thing, we need also to talk to people how to just approach the situation. Not a blender, but if you make some makeup, what's the geometric form and how to put it apart and put it together again. And the same as coloration, compositing, we need to have that these kind of content as well to produce better artists.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just because I'm already doing something similar, but to game art. I'm really glad that this is already in action because it will save me a lot of time so I can focus on game art. Yeah. I'm using Notion right now to do same type of chapterization. And I'm making like my 5-step process to become environmental artist. Just like from basic games, props, then basic scenes, then fully scene is Unreal. From doing that chapter by chapter. I also thought of doing it with Twine. So Twine is like a gamification of it. So like because things branch out, so that like, people can go, if they follow this branch, they're gonna become vegetation artists. They just follow this. So something like that. So I want to ask like, what is the collaborative opportunity is there? If I reach out and say, okay, would you like to build another this documentation for game art specific?
Yeah, we're also planning on creating our own game. So there might be an overlap, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I work in AAA side of things, I probably just take a more crop and this the registration. And I'm working on the that everything for the more pain on myself. Like, not use the brush, but cleaning the and not use the test painter, but use blender experimentation. But let's talk later. Yes. Cool.
Cool. I think there's a lot to be discussed. We have the afternoon and evenings. Let's discuss. Unfortunately, we have to move forward, and again, we're running out of time. But that's every year, so hopefully they won't kick us out in 20 minutes. I want to give Katina now the opportunity to present. I'm gonna mute my audio, Katina.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna introduce Katina. Yeah, so I want to give a bit of context about the certification and qualification framework. So our collaboration with Blender started in 2018, 19, with Blender Studio in China. So I'm really happy to see that Blender Studio is taking more steps forward with training. But there's a lot of high quality content there already. And we're hoping to we're localizing it for China, doing things like subtitling, translation, but the next step will be even more places, I hope. And we also saw that, recording people's achievements is quite important. And that's how we, got connected with Monique to start working with everyone on the Blender badges. And I think the key kind of difference of what our efforts in that we're spearheading is once we have that definition, how we award these badges to people. And this is an ongoing conversation where everyone who's an educator has the experience or authority, and every country has their own educational system, and the rules are different. But what we're hoping to kind of build is something that's built by the community, maintained by the community, and awarded by the community. And we hope everyone can be part of that effort. Our first step is to build a good foundation. On top of the excellent work of Blender Studio and then now Blender Studio in China, we've built up Origin, which is our community platform, because we keep Blender Studio as is. Blender Studio China as is. So Origin is where we're adding lots of new things like we have artwork showcase, our certification is on there, additional trainings on there, so that there's this additional part. But in the future, we also hope for this to be a platform for educators to exchange ideas, but as well as curriculum. So, to the point of collaboration, right? We hope that this will become can be one of the platforms where we can do things like share expertise, forum, on top of all the other great channels that already exist, like our Discord channel and Blender chat and everywhere else. Yeah. So, Katina, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for team introduction. I would say that Origin CG is more like a beating heart of the Blender community in China. So as well as we said previously, we want to co-create public values because we know that the contribution from community is very essential. And so that we want to use a website to connect professionals, students, and educators and provide a sort of solution to help them to engage each other others. Yeah. So if you're interested, you can scan the QR code to get access on our original CG, and we'll show you more details on it.
Yeah. And while you guys are doing that, we also have something to share with everyone. Before we get into it, we've made some of the badges. Just two for now, modeling and animation. So you guys can feel free to come, just grab one. We believe that you guys are good enough to grab these badges in modeling and animation. So yeah, just come up and grab one later on.
Yep. So inside the Origin CG, we have different tab, maybe categories. So like for gallery, that student can upload their artworks to here and share them to a wider audience. And for the marketplace, we work with awesome, amazing 3D animator or 3D artist. They can provide their customized extension or add-on, so they can pay for them to upload their add-on here and for people to purchase. Yeah. And for learning, we want to have a pack with resources and also as well as some online courses for people to learn themselves. So here you can get access to all courses, like the free courses or the paid courses, depends on your membership type. Yeah. And for school and forum, we are still developing. For school, we want to engage more university or college in mainland China or in the Great Bay area. So, like we can work tandem with some university and how their students learn our Blender courses, and all of the artwork can be uploaded to here for like a shared library.
Yeah, I'll touch on this as well. This is part of our efforts to engage the community and give them more, opportunities to engage with our content as well as with Blender and certification. What we're hoping to build is hubs within different schools, hubs of Blender users. And our initial idea is that once a club reaches a sufficient size, let's say like 50 people, we can give them a bit of funding to get events started, meetups, and start a bit of in-house training amongst themselves. And eventually at the end of it, they can join some local or regional or even our contest. And that's just some of our ideas for connecting with the community, and embedded in that will be all the online and offline training and certification and the community. Yeah.
Yeah. Forum just a place for people to share their opinions or share their ideas. Yeah. So to build up a community. And for blog, we have the latest news about the animation industry or Blender news. Like we have uploaded, we have been to the BigCon 2025, and also some of our badges design, a lot of badges design contributed by our education members. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to talk to you all is about the certification system. So if you get access to the web page, you can go to the learning tab and scroll down. So here you can see the take exam. So you can just follow Yeah. All right, so here is the certification. So first of all, thanks for the contribution of all our educational members. We will lay a common language on what student or teacher the knowledge point what student and teacher can refers to build based on the qualification framework. So here we have launched two basic fundamental exams. So first of all, if you want to get access, you need to sign in. It's just a simple step. You just give your username here. You can sign up. Just give the email, username, password, and then we'll send a confirmation email to your email address. Then you can click on the link to access to our original CG ID. So here, so we can take a look of it. So let's get started. Okay, so when you enter the page, you can see we have established two exams, and one of them is the animation level 0, and the other one is the modeling level 1. So let's take a look. For the animation 0, if you want to take the exam, you just read the term and conditions, and then click accept. So inside, you can see we have a very neat design. So basically for level 1 and level 0, we only have multiple choice questions. Like student or teacher, they have to finish by the time. So they have to finish 20 questions within 30 minutes. So does anyone want to try here? Yeah, just give a try.
Any takers? A, B, C, D.
Yeah. C, okay. Okay, and here maybe okay. Oh, sorry. No. Next question. Okay.
With our collective efforts,
Yeah.
we can get one level. Which was that?
And yeah, C, okay.
Always see.
Not really.
You have to try to find out.
Yeah.
I want.
Skip a bit.
B, okay. Yeah. So let's try one more question for this one. A, okay. Okay, let's submit the answer and see what happened. Okay. Oh no, we only have 20%.
4.
Yeah. And you can see the passing score is 75%, which means it's around it's 15 out of 20 correct answer. Yeah. So here you can see the interface. Unfortunately, we didn't pass the level 0. Never mind. Okay, let's check. Here, the correct answer, you can click in. We have provided the explanation like telling the student or teacher why they are having the wrong answer, and we will provide the correct answer for them. Yeah, because we are still in the testing stage, so we would like to you all of you can try and you can report the issue to us. Yeah, because thanks for the professor. Yeah, he has tried yesterday and he has tell us some mistake and help us to improve the system. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So we want to provide a very brief explanation so that they can learn from the mistake and to improve themselves. So that's the objectives of how we design the certification system. Yeah.
Sorry, did you have a question?
Yes, is there any compensation for not natural English speaking student? Because if you need to translate it from another language to your language, you need more time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right now we're catering to our markets first. So we're doing English and 2 types of Chinese. But we'd love to support even more languages in the future.
Not more languages, just give it more time.
Yeah. I think it would be hard to verify like are you a native speaker or not, or how experienced you are. But
That it will.
Yeah.
If we need more time, it won't work.
Yeah.
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 You should not do that.
Okay.
You could have it translating to a different language, but to give more time is not fair.
Yeah. I think once we have the designs up, like we'd love to share this framework with everyone as well. And
Yeah.
maybe we could, all this content can be developed in different languages. So what we see here is, maybe Katina will share later as well. We see 20 questions, but we actually have many versions of the exam so that
Yeah.
you can't just like copy all the answers and
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, share it everywhere. We're very cautious of this kind of stuff in China. Like, yeah. So yeah, we do want to make it actually a strong and robust system. Yeah. And you know, I wanted to add a little bit as well about how we work with Blender. So with Blender Studio, all of our profits are split with Blender, right? Same with Blender Studio China and with this platform as well, right? So any of the donations, and because eventually there will be costs to maintaining this, right? So when people start taking these exams and at the higher levels, it's not just multiple choice. It's also like outcomes that needs to be submitted, Blender files, and these need to be peer reviewed and reviewed by experienced instructors. And we expect there will be some compensation involved. But we expect also part of that to go back towards Blender. So that's at the heart of what we do.
Yeah, so for more, because we want to ensure that we have a fair exam mechanism. So when you're doing the question, you can't just copy it and place in the Google search bar to search for the answer. So we can detect it, and we just want to make sure to avoid the online answer related. Besides, we have developed a bunch of questions, like we have try to building a strong database that have different question type, so that when each student answering the exams, they will randomly pick from the database, so they won't answer with the same order, so to avoid them just copy from each other. Yeah.
Question. Will there be like practical test also? Like, so
Yeah.
there's a theory and there's some data assignment, and then
Yeah, maybe I can show you more. Except for being, as I mentioned before, for level 1 and level 0, we have over 30 minutes exam duration for student to answer 20 questions. But based on our testing, most of us can finish it within 15 minutes. So it's have sufficient time for student to answer all of the questions, because quite easy, I think. And for the level 2 and level 3, we're still developing and in the development process. And except for answering the multiple choice question, a student are required to do the hand-on task, like they have to finish maybe build up a snowman and submit the Blender file to the online platform for Reed to get access to and to yeah. So this is our design. So rather than theoretical, we also provide some practicals exercise or tasks for them to earn their badges. Yeah.
I feel that the hands-on is not more important than because at the end, if you make something, however you got it done, it's more important than always knowing the way, because you can search.
Yeah, because we will provide the test type, we'll have a very detailed instruction for students to follow, and we'll also provide some criteria for the examiner to take a look of the student work and give mark to them. So we'll ensure that, yeah.
It is a balance because we do want the students to, know a bit about the interface, hotkeys to some extent for younger students, and the skills required. And part of that is also outcome-based. And this is also within the badge design as well. Like there's different components to it. There's a do's and don'ts, cans and cannots, the interface, the keys, and the skills. So outcome is a big part of it, we agree. And it will feature more and more. The trend will be the more advanced you get, the more it will be outcome-based rather than just maybe written.
how to do the other way around because you learn that way. I mean, there's no way that if you have to make animation after some point that you want to pass text, then you need to know this because otherwise you have the wrong frame multiplication or whatever. And some people are really good at making particular animation, but they just need to always look up some things. It's just not their thing. So it seems dangerous to go theoretical only. Maybe if you have to be somebody who explains things, it's important, but
I think it also has a bit to do with how we've designed to implement it, because if it was purely outcome-based, it might require more supervision for exams. And yeah, we want to make it more accessible to everyone to begin with. So online, unless if we had like virtual machines for everyone to log in and do it in our environment or something, which is also hard to maintain at this stage. Maybe we can do it in the future. Yeah, I think written is just a bit easier, but we agree, like you can always adjust as we grow.
Yeah.
Well, it could be handy to switch it around. First do the hands-on task.
Yeah.
And then take the exam. So you can always switch the order. Or
Yeah.
the student can choose the order.
Yeah.
Because some students would like to first
Yeah.
maybe be theoretical,
Yeah.
maybe have theoretical
Yeah.
students and
Yeah.
then start playing around. But if a student chooses to, like you say, first do hands-on, because then by doing they can remember a bit more.
Yeah.
And if they've done that, then take the exam. So that's just a tip. Okay, switch it around, and usually I let my students decide for themselves. I don't have a theory exam; they just have to go and do it. But the theory exam, while doing, they talk to me and they explain to me what they do. But you've put an exam. That's something you addressed earlier. That in certain cultures, it's very important to take an exam, and you explained it last year as well in China. We've already heard it from African and South American countries that in their mind exams is very important.
Yeah, no, but it's still a community thing. So people should not feel at some point that if you don't have the benefit that you are not part of it anymore.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's very to be careful that there's not becoming a branching there. It's going together.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
very good point.
So I do agree that both should be possible. Maybe separated. You can be theoretical good and practical good. You can just track your stats on both sides.
Yeah.
I think
I have gone through the website and read of some of the requirements for badges, and I think they are very good standards because you can earn them very easily because children need to do constant approval. And this is okay. But the test we were earlier making for my pupil who are having some trouble with doing math in their head, but they are coming to make art, it's a bit like a little bit. So I need to have, or I just try to imagine in my head, how would the lesson work when they stay on my site? Try to understand the problem and use it under that time pressure. Maybe then think of no go. And this they are stupid, they can't handle it, they are handled automatically in their head, but they are not able to say, 5 seconds and 24 frames per second are 220 frames, even if their life depends on it.
Some students learn very visually, especially in this field. So theoretical exams might be a bit of a burden.
Sure.
And that's, I think, something to be careful about. But
Yeah.
again, you guys did a first implementation of the implementation framework. Katina is on the Blender chat as well, so we can chat further and share our ideas. I know you've did it in the way that you're used to doing it in China, but again, like you pointed out, it's a community effort. And we over the year exams differently. So let's share the knowledge and perhaps adjust for the community. That would be wonderful.
we really value all the feedback, and we're gonna bring it back, and next year we'll see even better things.
Yeah. Okay. May I show you the last one? So here, in your personal profile, you can see your badges. So after you're taking the exam, you can just see your badges here. Yeah. That's what I want to tell you all. Yeah. And we, love to hear all of your opinions and embrace different culture and to help us to do better.
I think.
Okay. The last things Tim want to share is about the IBE. Maybe,
Yeah, so I mentioned a little bit that we love community participation in our efforts to build some kind of certification. And right now it's just basically a mailing list, right? That's a bit more open and we'll share some updates. It's called the International Alliance of Blender Educators, IABE.io. So if you guys are interested in this part of the implementation of the badges, the awarding of the badges, stay in touch. Feel free to give us some feedback. And of course, you can also reach Katina and I via all the other digital means. Yeah, and yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And the badges are here, but do give the exams a try if you have a spare 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, let us know. If you hate it, let us know. If you love it, let us know.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you show the QR code again?
Okay. I have the CG one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for taking the certification
Yeah.
exam. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's about a qualification for. Put the audio on. Yes. That is about a qualification framework. Thank you very much, Katina and Tim. And let's continue the discussion on the Blender chat. Because again, you got some feedback. I also have some feedback because this type of exam is also not going to work in my class. So let's see if we can make it a community effort and so that schools can use it. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. Thank you all very much for joining the education meeting. It's been wonderful, and I hope we've inspired you to join the Blender education community efforts. And also, thank you, Bo. The chat, I'm seeing a lot of questions about, is the studio material free? So it's gonna be free, folks, but it's not finished yet. But the studio is working on it. And again, we're joining hands with this studio to work together and see how we can use the exams of you for those who want to use exams. Cool. Thank you very much. And let's have a drink. Thank you. And I hope to see you next year.
Grab some badges, guys.
I hope to see you online, of course.
Don't tell me twice.
We have some goodies. So I can get some goodies for Federico, Andrea, and Raul. Hey.
Thank you.
We have once more. Want some for
Yeah.
the kids?
It's fine. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Andrea, Raul, Federico.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom,
See you
viewers
soon.
online. Thank you all very much.